Heyo. I just wanted to share some things today. I've been kept up all night again. I always do these videos when I look like absolute crap, right? After being completely hammered. As you can see, my walls of water are here. It may have been, I may as well disclose, it may have been that the whole thing with the water was just the machine deceiving again. So I wanted to be honest with that. I had a hell of a night last night. So I wanted to share with you what I'm noticing. Again, you know, this is such a difficult thing to be able to do, to try to outsmart what is basically an artificial intelligence system that's designed to actually deceive. And that's what we're dealing with. And I've always said that from the start. So my earlier work, I've said, you know, deception is its number one tool. We are dealing with, we're dealing with the devil, which is one way to see it. You know, whatever you perceive that to be. But what I wanted to do was just show you a few things that I've noticed. At the moment, one of the favorite things it does for me is actually causing crippling pain all through my lower abdomen. And this is crippling, like to the point where I can't work anymore. And so I have to lay down and try and shield myself. But the thing I notice is the effectiveness of shielding is there. And I'm pretty sure that's not a deception, because this is what I notice. Let's take this for example. This is a gel pillow. Gel, latex actually, which is probably better than gel that I found. If you can get solid latex, this one's called a Dunlop pillow. And it's for luxurious latex. And essentially, this here is pretty awesome. It's great at blocking. It's great at blocking. So this is what I found. I'll be sitting here and I'll be typing, and then all of a sudden I'm in pain, right? And then fucking phone call. And then what happens is I'll grab this and I'll just put it here, and all of a sudden that pain will disappear. Whether it's coming from the top down, if I do this as well, this can make it disappear as well. But if I leave it there and wait and count to 20 seconds, it'll come back. Yeah, the latex pillow actually is very effective in blocking. But what I'm getting at here isn't to do with the latex pillow. Like, you can do the same thing with a metal. And that is, I'll go like this, and it's like, oh yeah, and put it somewhere, and it stops, right? The pain stops in response to that. Now, okay, maybe it's the AI going, oh, look, he's trying to shield. Let's pretend that that worked. But I don't think that's the case in this case. Although if it did this same thing with the water, which I don't think it has, I still find myself extremely way more vulnerable where I'm not inside this. But last night they hammered me. Now there's a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities here. Maybe they flew a drone over that has 6G on it and just hammered me with it. That's possible. Maybe they maybe satellites, which is where I'm going with this. This can only do so much if you're getting attacks from the roof, obviously. What I plan to do for that at this point in time is I'm looking at implementing that solution that was shared, that I've shared a number of times. I shared in my last video. Was it last video or one of my last articles on absorbent panels, and they combine iron filings and graphite in a resin, but you can also do them in a silicon if you want flexible But if you want just hard panels, they're only 3 mil thick, and that'll actually stop this. Now, here's the thing about 6G. It bounces. It uses, again, it uses crazy beam steering and beam forming, which allows it to essentially find a way in. So if you've got a full Faraday cage and you've just got this little gap there, it will find its way through that gap. That's why this stuff is so hard to shield from. And so that's why reflective surfaces, you can have them all reflecting, but you're just adding another mirror for it to bounce off. And say it can bounce off the wall, but every bounce it does is going to lose some value, so it's going to lose some of its strength in those bounces, dependent on the material that it's bouncing off. So metals and stuff, it's not going to lose much, right? It'll go through, it'll bounce around those, and it's not going to lose much. But placed in the right place, they're useful because you can reflect it back, and it can't, as long as it can't use it to then bounce back towards you, then that's fine. So, for example, a fence, and you've got a fence next to your house, and you put it up outside the window, it'll bounce it back and forth between the fence and the window, right? This is the kind of thing that we're dealing with. And if it's doing that between two metals, it can probably bounce many times before it even loses much power. So yeah, this is not an easy thing. The other thing is what level of power ramping up can these towers do, towers or satellites? Are they able to ramp up, like really crank that up? Because I'm not sure how the regulations are sorted. I'm not sure how they measure that, but I'm guessing they just bring a meter and go, okay, yeah, I've got a meter here. It says it's this amount. Now, that means that the amount cranking from the source could be extremely high, as long as when it lands in a environment, it's down to a certain level. That means they can crank it up as infinitely to get it to the same strength based on the bounce path. And so what we're talking about is a targeting system that is like, the millimeter wave identifies both the objects in the area in your environment, and then uses artificial intelligence in order to route the bounces that it does. And that's how it figures out where the best place to actually place the beam is. All right. So it's sort of like a gray area, and there's no one there to check. These days, if you're going to be someone measuring 6G waves, something up in the tens of gigahertz, you need $30,000 worth of equipment. These people, I don't think, give a shit for regulations. They set the regulations, they break the regulations. They don't care. They really don't give a shit. And so, I wanted to share this anyway. And the main thing that was wanting to say is, that we need to be looking for solutions, but we are up against a system that will deceive. Primarily, number one, it will deceive us. It's there. This is what it does. These people who are doing this, not only are they cold-hearted killers and genociders, eugenicists, they are psychopaths. They have no soul. They have no heart. They have no compassion. And to them, this is funny, right? To watch someone struggle and die at the behest of their filthy system is something that they find entertaining. This is the level of disgusting depravity that we're dealing with. Okay. These people don't mind. They don't mind the fact that they're killing lots of innocent people. And we're talking women, children, and men. They don't care. The number of women out there who are just suffering, like that I get on Facebook every day, it's just disgusting is what it is. And so, yeah, I mean, my last post was a little bit, one of my 2 ago, I was talking about how, what are our reasonings? What is the reasoning behind what we're going through? And you don't really need much more of a reason than eugenics. It's a cult. And if they did the cull without doing what they're doing to us, without all the torture and without all the voices in the head and stuff, it all serves a purpose. Why put the voices in the head? Why would you do that? Why not just kill us? Because they want us to look crazy while they're killing us. Because then when we say, hey, the satellites are killing us, everyone will go, weren't you hearing voices yesterday? Yeah, the satellites are killing you. Yeah, that's how it works. Right. It was just a mechanism to discredit you. And a lot of you think that you've got people sitting there watching and stuff. I think some people might have. We might have total psychopaths all sitting there just entertaining themselves, killing a person. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, if our leaders are that poisonous and disgusting, if our technocrats are that filthy and disgusting, if our, then yeah, why not the employers as well? Why not the people who are your neighbours? Why not the people down the road? Why not the people in Parliament? Especially the people in Parliament. It's not a stretch to think that the whole world's gone to hell a bit and everyone's sort of just lost their ability to have compassion and decency, and that they're all despicable pieces of shit who value life so little that they will play a game with someone's life, toy with them until they're dead. Like a cat with a mouse. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm a person who believes that everyone should live and let live, but these filthy, disgusting cretins, I guess, have been brought up being told that they're better than everyone else, and they believe it. And then they come with this incredible thing of, well, it's very overpopulated. Like, why? I can drive 500 kilometers without seeing a person down this way. If I don't go 500 kilometers that way and hardly see a person as well. I could probably go north and do the same thing where I'm at, man. We're in the middle of nothing. So where's this overpopulation again? What do you need to live? What that the world doesn't provide? What do you need? Well, water. Well, as long as you stop poisoning it with your poisonous chemtrails, we'd be fine. What else do you need? Oh, we need food. What doesn't come out of the ground, as long as you don't keep poisoning it with your poisonous chemtrails? These people are fucking disgusting, mate. They need to be dragged out onto the street. I have to hold myself here, right? But they need to be made an example of. This is actually what needs to happen. Unfortunately, that's what they want. You know why? Because they're cowardly fucks who can just hop on a jet whenever, and they've got an escape plan from every place they go to. They've got security to the nines because they know that they're a despicable piece of shit and everyone wants them dead. And so, and not everyone, the ones who are actually onto it. But anyway, look, I don't wish death on anyone, but I'd certainly, and if I was going to wish death on someone, it would be on the people who are willing to sit there and torture hundreds of thousands of civilians, innocent, in their homes, to torture and kill their dogs and cats, harass their animals as well, and their children, or to eat their children, or to traffic their children, or to convince their children that they want to cut their frickin' genitals off. This world is just disgusting, right? This is where we're living, right? These people are disgusting. They are anti-human. They are twisted. They are sick. And they are the ones who are running the show. You know why? Because they put these filthy, filthy cretins in place deliberately so they could do whatever the fuck they want. That's basically. And so that's all I have. Yeah. Chin up, I guess. I try myself, but I'm just fading really at this point. And I really am having trouble with this. But that's going to happen when, you're not allowed to sleep. It just ruins you. Not to mention all the same crap and the pains, constant pains in everything you do. And then they hit my computer switches on and off, and then my hub goes on and off, and then it's just like this. It's an automator. It's just I can't imagine someone sitting there going, "Oh yeah, let's hear this now." It's an automated system. It's designed to drive you fucking mad. It's too consistent to be people. And then it ramps up and ramps down. It's got this randomization which fits it perfectly. And that's why one day you'll know it's fine, and then the next day it's all shit. And why? Because it makes you look like a fucking loon while they cook you to death. It's a slow cook. It's not overnight, but you'll end up with your cancer. You'll end up with your stroke or whatever the fuck they want. Or you'll end up killing yourself because you can't handle it anymore. I mean, this is what they want. This is how they see it. We just need to reduce population. This is their point of view. Like, they're just sick. They're sick people. They're sick people. They need to be called out. I'm calling them out. Hey, you're a bunch of sick fucks. All right, that's all I got. Peace to my good people and death to the others. Ciao.